The numbers on the screen did not make sense. My hands hovered over the keyboard, frozen, my breath shallow as I stared at the total balance displayed in front of me. A balance that should have been thousands. Years of careful saving, years of saying no to small luxuries, years of planning for a future I thought I was building with my husband. But now, that future was gone. I refreshed the page, willing it to be a mistake, a glitch, some kind of error that would correct itself. But the numbers did not change. The money was not there. A sharp chill ran through me as I scrolled through the recent transactions. There were withdrawals I did not make, payments I did not recognize. I clicked on the details, my stomach twisting tighter with every charge. A 5-star luxury hotel, a high-end jewelry store, an expensive boutique known for designer women's clothing. I had blinked, forcing my mind to process what I was seeing, but the truth had already begun to sink into my bones. This was not random. This was not a mistake. Someone had stolen from me. And there was only one person who had access to this account. My husband. A slow, sickening wave of realization washed over me as the puzzle pieces fell into place. The excuses about money being tight. The dismissive way he waved off my concerns when I mentioned saving. The vague explanations whenever I asked about certain transactions. I had trusted him. I had built a life with him, a home, a future, and he had used me. But there was something worse. Because this money had not simply disappeared. It had been spent. On her. I did not know her name yet, but I would. And the only question running through my mind now was the one that sent a slow-burning rage through every inch of my body. Who was she? And how long had they been laughing behind my back? I did not cry. I did not scream. There was no shaking, no panic. No desperate need to pretend. This was not happening. That stage was over. Instead, I got to work. I pulled out my laptop, my fingers moving swiftly over the keyboard as I logged into our shared accounts, the ones he thought I would never check. Every bank statement, every transaction, every withdrawal. I combed through them all. It was worse than I had imagined. The hotel was not a one-time charge. It was recurring. A place he had visited again and again. Each stay just long enough to know it was not business, not coincidence. I clicked through the purchases. Jewelry, perfume, designer dresses, expensive dinners. Money that I had worked for. Money that had been meant for our future. Money that had never belonged to her. My chest tightened, but I forced myself to keep going. I opened his email. He was careless, too confident. He had never thought I would look. And that was his mistake. Buried between work receipts and spam messages, I found them. The emails. The ones he had sent to her. The ones where he called her baby. Where he told her he could not wait to see her again. Where he promised she meant everything to him. I stared at the words, my vision blurring for a moment. Then I kept reading. She is starting to ask questions. Do not text me late at night anymore. She is getting suspicious. I just need more time. Once I figure things out, we will have everything. I clenched my fists so tightly that my nails dug into my palms. Figure things out. What was there to figure out? He had already taken everything from me, my trust, my stability, my future. But he was not planning to stop. I opened his phone records next. Dozens of calls to the same number. It took me 2 minutes to find her name, another 5 to find her social media. She was younger, prettier, in the kind of way that fades fast. The type who posted selfies in luxury cars, flashing diamond bracelets, tagging high-end restaurants. The type who liked expensive things. Things he bought with my money. I clicked on her latest post. A photo in our car. A caption that made my blood run cold. You make me feel like a queen. She was in my house, in my car, wearing my money on her wrist, and neither of them had any idea that I knew. Yet, I did not cry. I did not scream. There was no shaking, no panic, no desperate need to pretend. This was not happening. That stage was over. Instead, I got to work. I pulled out my laptop, my fingers moving swiftly over the keyboard as I logged into our shared accounts, the ones he thought I would never check. Every bank statement, every transaction, every withdrawal, I combed through them all. It was worse than I had imagined. The hotel was not a one-time charge. It was recurring. A place he had visited again and again. Each stay just long enough to know it was not business, not coincidence. I clicked through the purchases: jewelry, perfume, designer dresses, expensive dinners. Money that I had worked for. Money that had been meant for our future. Money that had never belonged to her. My chest tightened, but I forced myself to keep going. I opened his email. He was careless, too confident. He had never thought I would look, and that was his mistake. Buried between work receipts and spam messages, I found them. The emails, the ones he had sent to her, the ones where he called her baby, where he told her he could not wait to see her again, where he promised she meant everything to him. I stared at the words, my vision blurring for a moment. Then I kept reading. She is starting to ask questions. Do not text me late at night anymore. She is getting suspicious. I just need more time. Once I figure things out, we will have everything. I clenched my fists so tightly that my nails dug into my palms. Figure things out. What was there to figure out? He had already taken everything from me, my trust, my stability, my future. But he was not planning to stop. I opened his phone records next. Dozens of calls to the same number. It took me 2 minutes to find her name. Another 5 to find her social media. She was younger, prettier, in the kind of way that fades fast. The type who posted selfies in luxury cars, flashing diamond bracelets, tagging high-end restaurants. The type who liked expensive things. Things he bought with my money. I clicked on her latest post, a photo in our car, a caption that made my blood run cold. You make me feel like a queen. She was in my house, in my car, wearing my money on her wrist, and neither of them had any idea that I knew. Yet, I wanted to scream. I wanted to confront him, to throw his phone in his face, to demand he tell me how long he had been making a fool out of me. But anger was temporary. Rage faded. Revenge lasted. So I did not confront him. Not yet. I closed his emails, locked my laptop, and took a deep breath. If I wanted to win, I needed to be smart. The first thing I did was secure what little I had left. I opened a secret bank account, one he did not know existed. Every bit of extra money, every paycheck, every dollar I could quietly move without suspicion, I transferred it. Next, I changed all my passwords, my email, my bank login, my credit cards. Everything that had once been accessible to him was now locked. He would not notice immediately. He was too comfortable, too sure of his control. But that comfort would not last long. Then, I did something he never expected. I documented everything. I took screenshots of the transactions, every withdrawal, every hotel charge, every unnecessary luxury purchase. I saved the emails, the texts, the phone records. I printed copies and stored them in a safe place. because I was not just leaving him. I was going to destroy him. He had taken my money. I would take everything else. The next day, while he was at work, or with her, I made the call. I need to speak with a divorce attorney, immediately. The woman on the other end of the line was calm, professional. She asked questions. I answered them without hesitation. You have proof that he stole from you? Yes. And proof of infidelity? Yes. She was quiet for a moment. Then, you have enough to take him for everything. The words settled over me like a slow-burning fire. Everything. The house, the cars, the accounts, his future. He thought I was weak. He thought I would cry, beg forgive. But he had made the biggest mistake of his life. He underestimated me. And now, it was time to turn the tables. Time for him to lose everything. I could have confronted him. I could have screamed, thrown his phone at him, demanded to know how long he had been sneaking around behind my back. But that was exactly what he expected me to do, and I was not going to give him that satisfaction. So instead, I smiled. I played my role perfectly. The doting, trusting wife. The woman too naive to suspect a thing. The wife who did not flinch when he walked in late, his shirt smelling faintly of perfume that was not hers. He had been cautious before, covering his tracks, making sure I never had a reason to question him. But now he was bold. He started lying with ease, with confidence. The way he looked me in the eyes and said, "Work ran late," without a single hesitation was almost impressive. Almost. He did not realize that every fake excuse, every last-minute business trip, every missing dollar in our account was just more ammunition for me. So I let him think he was winning. When he said he was working late, I smiled and kissed his cheek, pretending I did not notice the slight stiffness in his posture. When he left his phone face down on the table, I did not reach for it, even though I knew exactly what was inside. When he spent the night out with friends, I wished him a good time, acting as if I was too distracted to care. But while he was playing his game, I was playing my own. I had already moved the money. I had already secured the proof. The divorce lawyer was in place, the paperwork waiting. Every transaction, every email, every whispered lie was being collected piece by piece. He thought he was winning. And then I did something he never saw coming. I reached out to her, the woman he had risked everything for, the woman he had emptied my bank account for, the woman he had thought was his escape, his fresh start. She picked up on the second ring. "Hello." I smiled, slow and deliberate, just like he had when he lied to me. "We need to talk. About him." If he thought she was loyal, he was in for a surprise. She agreed to meet me. She was hesitant at first, probably expecting an explosion, a screaming wife, a dramatic scene, maybe even a slap across the face. But that was not what I had planned for her. No, I needed her on my side. So when I arrived at the cafe, I played my part perfectly. I did not glare. I did not accuse. I did not let her see the storm that was brewing inside me. Instead, I looked broken. I sat across from her, my hands wrapped around my coffee cup, as if it was the only thing holding me together. My voice was quiet, my shoulders slightly hunched, my lips trembling just enough to be believable. "I just need to understand," I said softly. "How long?" She hesitated, shifting in her seat. She was younger, too polished, wearing jewelry that I had paid for without realizing it. She looked at me like she was not sure if she should pity me or be annoyed that I had forced this conversation. "A little over a year," she said. barely meeting my eyes. A year. He had been living this double life for over a year. I swallowed, forcing down the rage that threatened to surface. Not yet. I do not blame you, I whispered. I know he can be convincing. Her expression softened just a little. She had expected anger, jealousy, hate. What she had not expected was understanding. I did not know about you at first, she said. He told me you two were having problems, that it was already over. I nodded, as if that was not the same tired excuse every cheating man used. Did he ever mention money problems? I asked, carefully watching her face. She frowned. No, he never said anything like that. He always paid for everything. He told me he had investments, that he was doing well. I let out a soft, humorless laugh, shaking my head. Then I leaned forward slightly, dropping my voice just enough to make her lean in too. Did he tell you he spent all my money on you? The shift was instant. Her expression froze, her lips parting slightly, confusion flickering across her face. What? I reached into my bag, pulling out the receipts, the bank statements, the credit card charges. Every hotel, every dinner, every bracelet, every trip. He paid for it with my money? I said, placing the papers in front of her. She stared at them, her face draining of color as she scanned the evidence. She had no idea. He had lied to her too, and if there was one thing women like her hated, it was being played. She sat there, her manicured fingers gripping the receipts, her eyes scanning through the cold, undeniable truth. Every luxurious dinner, every weekend getaway, every ridiculous shopping spree, it was all there, paid for with my money. Her expression shifted from shock to anger, her lips pressing into a tight line. She had thought she was special. She had thought she had won. But now, she saw it for what it really was. She was just another pawn, just another woman he had lied to. I had no idea, she whispered, her voice brittle. He told me. I know what he told you. I cut in, my voice calm. And now, you know the truth. So the real question is, what do you want to do about it? I leaned back in my chair, watching her carefully. I had spent months being the fool, believing his lies, letting him control my life without realizing it. But now, I was the one pulling the strings. She exhaled sharply, her nails tapping against the table, her mind racing. I could see it, the humiliation settling in, the bitter realization that she had never mattered to him the way he made her believe. He told me he loved me, she muttered under her breath, almost to herself. I tilted my head. Then why did he use another woman's money to spoil you? Her jaw clenched. She was furious. Good. I reached into my bag and pulled out a neatly organized folder. Everything I had collected. The bank statements, the transaction history, the private messages. Proof of his affair. Proof of his theft. Proof of who he really was. I am sending this to his boss, I said casually, flipping through the pages. His job has strict policies about fraud. And well, I think using your wife's savings to finance an affair probably counts. Her eyes widened slightly. And his family, I continued, as if it was the most natural thing in the world. His friends, his colleagues, the people who think he is a good man, a hard-working husband, a devoted son. Her lips parted slightly. You are really going to do it? I met her gaze, unwavering, certain. He took everything from me. I said, now, I am going to take everything from him. That night, I sent the emails. To his boss, his parents, his co-workers. No message, No explanations, just the truth. And then I waited. It did not take long. The first call came from his sister, her voice shaking with disbelief. Is this real? Did he really do this? Yes, I said simply before hanging up. The next came from his best friend, the one who had always taken his side, always rolled his eyes when I voiced my concerns. This time, his voice was different, tense, hesitant. I had no idea, I swear. I would have said something. I hung up before he could finish. I did not need his excuses. Then his mother called. Her voice was tight, angry, embarrassed. He told us you were struggling, that you were bad with money, that he had to step in to take care of things. I let out a small laugh, cold and humorless. Is that what he told you? Silence. Then she sighed. A long, exhausted sigh of a mother who had finally seen her son for who he really was. I am so sorry, she said, voice barely a whisper. For a moment, I almost felt bad. But then I remembered how he had emptied my bank account to impress another woman. I ended the call without another word. And then I waited for the final explosion. It came the next morning. I woke up to a string of messages from him. At first, they were short. What did you do? You are overreacting. Then, they grew angrier. You ruined my life. Do you have any idea what you have done? Yes, I did. By lunchtime, his job was gone. The company did not want the scandal, the bad press. An employee who had stolen money was a liability. By evening, his friends had turned their backs. No one wanted to be associated with him. And by night, his mistress had blocked his number. I sat back, watching the chaos unfold, feeling something I had not felt in a long time. Satisfaction. But I was not finished yet. He had no idea what was coming. While he was scrambling, trying to salvage what little was left of his reputation, I was finishing what he started. Only this time, I was the one taking everything. I filed for divorce the moment his job was gone. The paperwork was ready, neatly stacked in my lawyer's office, filled with every legal loophole that would ensure he walked away with nothing. Then, I froze our joint accounts, the same ones he had used so recklessly, thinking I would never question it, thinking I would always be there to refill what he drained. Not anymore. By the time he figured out what was happening, it was too late. The bank calls started coming in, his transactions declined one after another. His cards stopped working. His access to everything was cut off. Then, I took the house. It was in my name. He had insisted it be a joint purchase. But he had been too lazy, too confident to read the fine print. He never even noticed that his name was never on the deed. And now, the locks were changed. By the time he came home, there was nothing left. I imagined the moment clearly. The way his hands would tighten around the doorknob, the slight hesitation before pushing it open, still clinging to the illusion that his life was intact. Then, the reality, the silence, the emptiness. Every single thing he owned was gone. The furniture? Mine. The television? Mine. The designer watches, the expensive suits, the little luxuries he thought defined him. All packed up and taken. What was left? Just the divorce papers. Neatly placed on the kitchen counter, waiting for his signature. His call came minutes later. I let it ring. Then another. And another. Then the messages. Where is everything? What the hell did you do? You cannot do this to me. But I already had. For the first time, he had nothing, and I had everything. The fallout was faster than I expected. First, his mistress left him. The moment she realized the money was gone, she vanished. She had ignored his calls, then blocked him altogether. She was never in it for him. She was in it for the lifestyle. And without my stolen money fueling it, he was nothing to her. He called me that night. I did not answer. Then came the real loss, his job. His employer had no tolerance for scandals. A man who had stolen from his own wife, who had embezzled household funds to finance an affair. That was bad business. By the end of the week, he had been terminated. The excuses came quickly. This is not fair. I made one mistake. You ruined my life. I almost laughed. Did he even hear himself? I let him sit in it. Let him realize, truly realize, that he had nothing left. Then the begging started. The calls were endless. The messages relentless. Please, we can fix this. I was stupid. I made a mistake. We can go back to how things were. You do not understand. I need you. I stared at the words on my screen, the desperation in each one. And then I did the thing he never expected. I ignored him. No response. No acknowledgement. Nothing. I let him feel the silence. Because that was what he had left me with, emptiness. And now he could drown in it. I took a deep breath, my hands steady, my heart lighter than it had been in years. Then, with one final tap, I blocked his number. And just like that, he was gone. I stepped forward into a new life, into my life, the one I had rebuilt for myself. He stole from me. He betrayed me. And in the end, I made sure he lost more than he ever imagined.